Hi, this is Dave and Jim with today's One Rep Constructive Conversation. Let's get into today's subject. All right, today's topic is, are invoices from capital projects always correct? So I want to start this by saying, as a past CEO, I guess I would have just assume that we're going through, we're building this. I see so much concrete work has been done. So much this has been done, that has been done. Here's land development work. It's all broken down, on the per the contract, and you get the invoice. You give it to your CFO. You kind of look around. You say, "Seems like it's done," right? But of course, it's more complicated than that.
It is.
And if you have an owner's rep working for you that's been in the business 30 years, so let me ask you, from your perspective, right? Are those invoices always right?
No, but it's not just about the value that's being requisitioned. It's about the supportive documents that need to come with it. So especially publicly funded projects, there's payroll certificates, there's U.S. steel certs, there's a lot of or in particular in the industry, elevator industry,
right?
They will invoice 30 to 50% for engineering of the elevator. Well, there's no material being purchased, right? So when this transfers, and you got to realize this is going from the desk of the contractor to the desk of the architect to the owner and then off to the funding source over a period of time, right? By the time it gets to the funding source has that opportunity to scrutinize, and they want to know where's the material, where's that product?
Right.
It wasn't a product, it was a service. Okay. Well, you have to have evidence that that service was engaged. So,
right.
For example, we just the other day got an invoice for the elevator engineering fees, right? But the amount on the invoice didn't relate to what was on the requisition. So I had to go back, and this is, we do all this in the pencil copy phase,
right.
Not when it's been certified,
right.
Bought and notarized. We look to our contractors to submit their invoices ahead of month's end.
Right.
So we have this opportunity to help them understand where their deficiencies are, right? That's what they are. Sometimes in most cases, they're trying to project work completed 2 months end, right? For example, another project we had, they were anticipating the mechanical equipment. All of it was going to show up on the 30th of the month. $130,000 worth of equipment.
Right.
But it didn't, right? So you can't, if you have materials in storage, you have to have photographic evidence, insurance certificates, all of those things, and bill of ladings. If that didn't happen within the month, you can't bill for it. So at the last minute, just prior to notarization, we had to have them extract that from the invoice. All of this is managed within a 5 or 6 day period.
Right.
And at that last, when it's notarized by our contractor, then it can go to our architect. And with our support, help our architect understand that the information we perceive to be accurate, enables them to expedite their review with accuracy, so that there isn't delays in the transition of information. Because one of the other things we want to avoid is delaying payment to our contractors. Right. That's one of the biggest challenges because of all the terms and conditions from our funding sources. Right. We need to keep the money flowing, or our contractor inherently is going to lose interest in the project. Worst, that's best case. So definitely, we, as a supportive element of the team, we carefully scrutinize this information so we can expedite the processing of that application as a result of these experiences that we have had in the past, and recognizing the flaws in the information presented on the application.
I remember you were telling me one you saw, this wasn't that long ago, I forget, and again, not to name wise or CEOs or projects, but on there it said something like 60% was done. And you're like, there's no way that 60% of this is done. And you challenged them, and what was the answer that whoever was making that gave you? I don't even recall what it was.
Because they thought they were going to be that far along by month's end.
Right.
And they weren't.
And it wasn't materials, this was just labor.
Well, it was certainly a combination of that. Yeah, because they were going to have a large delivery come on site, much like the mechanical equipment I mentioned earlier. And it didn't happen. And they were like, well, it's going to happen on the 2nd. Yeah, but that's not, when it gets to the end,
Right.
to that funding source, and it didn't happen within that month,
Right.
they do not release the funds. So we
Right.
can't pay the contractor. So the more we can help them appreciate how important that application be accurately reflective of work done in the month,
Right.
the quicker we can pay them.
So is it common, like how, I'm just trying to get my head around it. Again, I'm not, and from the Y side, right?
Right.
From my side, like Jim worked for us, as owner's representation. He did all this stuff. He'd send me all the stuff he found. I'm like, oh, great. I have confidence that I can pay this invoice now.
Mm-hmm.
So I only know it from my perspective, not all these other Ys. Was that just us, or was it you are almost always finding something that's wrong on these invoices because everybody's trying to kind of push the envelope as much as they can. Again, that's my cynical side coming out again. They're after the wise money,
It's called front loading.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
Yeah, right. We definitely, as a contractor, want to get our hands on as much cash to support the flow as early as possible.
Sure.
Right. But there are limitations.
Right.
Sure. And yes, are they always wrong? No. But there are instances where it's not oftentimes intentional.
Right.
It's just an anticipation and not only that, but you have to realize contractors have different departments within their administration, right? So the project manager relays to the accounting department their perceived percentage is complete. Just the other day, I got an invoice that was invoicing for doors and hardware.
Right.
And the project hadn't even started. And
Well, they're in a warehouse
I'm
somewhere,
like, wait a minute. At the next job meeting, I brought that to the project manager's attention. He goes, oh, my accountant didn't understand what I was saying. So he went back to his accountant. And within 24 hours, the invoice was corrected, sent to me, and we moved on. But yeah, there's so many people involved in the transition from field to desk to us for review that there's inherently confusion. And so having that third party, one rep, for example, interject in the process so that transition flows.
Right.
And then, as you shared earlier, certainly, and leadership doesn't get caught up. And you folks in the accounting department at the YMCA has their hands full every day, just making sure the bills are paid, no less this capital project getting done.
Right.
So having us to be able to manage that is proven very fruitful to the YMCA.
Well, thank you, Jim. It's enlightening. And again, many of these videos are for those CEOs that are doing projects for the first time. Mm-hmm. It's just the invoices. You think it's the invoice. Like, how complicated can it be? Well, guess what, Buckaroo? It's a lot more complicated than you and I ever dreamed it would be. That's why we made this video. So,
Great.
Thank you. Good job.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys next time. Well, that's our one rep constructive conversation for today. Thanks for watching. One rep, we want to bring what we've learned in Pennsylvania to the whole rest of the country. We've had extensive experience doing YMCA capital projects here over the last 25 years, and we've had great success minimizing changes that YMCAs have had to make, compromises. We're minimizing the compromises that YMCAs have to make. And part of that, of course, is we want to minimize the unnecessary charges, and what that winds up being a lot of times is an increase in the mortgage amount, right? The debt load. And we want to make sure your Y is successful and your project is successful. So if you'd like more information about OneRep, you could visit us on our website. We have a Facebook page. We're on LinkedIn. Please give Jim or I a call anytime. We're happy to come out to your Y and talk to you about your project, or have a free Zoom consultation to talk about your project. Thanks for watching again, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.